All right, Auriemma, what the fuck is it about? It's an album. There's vinyl, there's a CD. You got a vinyl in three different colors. You got sea green, purple, and pumpkin, and you got the CD version. There were two brothers. This is what the music is sort of a tribute to, or very much connected to for this album. The two brothers died within 2 weeks of each other. One of them died on train tracks, and the other followed afterward and got in a car accident. They hit a telephone pole. They were friends and they were neighbors with the guy that I used to collaborate with most frequently at the outset of Bengalfuel. And I always kind of felt like I was sort of a conduit to their energy that he would channel oftentimes when we would get together and we would record music. And there were a lot of times where, I'll just give one example, because there's so many times when things would happen that were strange or unexplainable or very synchronistic, I would say. And one of them was, we were talking on the phone, and I had the strong impulse, and this is after having enough of these incidents occur that, you know, it's like we know what we mean when I'm saying, like, okay, I can feel the brothers, or I can feel that energy. And we were on the phone, and I decided to hop on a bus. He was in New York, I was in New Jersey, so I'm like, I'm coming to you, you know, we got to record music because I can feel the energy of the brothers really strong. We got to, tonight, I'm going to be there, we're going to record music. And he said, oh, it's the anniversary of the one brother's death. And of course I had no idea. So that was kind of fucked up and wowie wow. And then we got together and he recorded something really profound, and it was special, and he knew it and felt the energy himself. So that kind of thing happened a lot, and this music is that kind of music, and so it's for them in a certain way. But it's also just that in general, that's what music is, right? Music is, you're channeling energy. People who make music know you get into a zone and you find things, and it's not necessarily just you. You know that there's something else, there's something more there that's present with you. If not, then you're probably not having as cool of an experience as you could be, and you're not as open with the creative process, because that happens. People call that different things. They might say it's divine inspiration or whatever, but it's as if you feel as though something's coming through you, and it's not really just you. It's not you at all, maybe, and you're kind of in a trance when you're coming up with things. And you'll end up liking the results of those things oftentimes a lot more than whatever you think you can bang into place with your mind. That's the joy of creativity, is when you get that thrill of riding that wave, that you've created something a little more than what you would come up with. What would be your idea if you were to try to get your idea out is oftentimes less interesting than what comes through and what happens, what's sort of spontaneously there. So that's sort of what this album is about, is that kind of flow, that kind of feeling. And to me, I would call them ambient poems. They're not really tracks per se, because they're very floaty, improvised synthesizer kind of stuff. They're played on big analog synthesizers, and there's a lot of spontaneity of what's happening when you're playing, and you're allowing that energy to flow through you. So I don't know, to me that sounds kind of cool. You call it an ambient poem. So along with this, I just want to say some really cool people worked on this, as far as the artwork, the photography that was done for it. That's not me, that's other people, so they're very cool for doing that. Some people have always been helpful with it. I'm going to answer some frequently asked question things, just 3 of them, to kind of carry on with what I'm saying right now, because people are always asking me, who is Bengalfuel, or who are the members of Bengalfuel? So yes, it's the one guy that I was collaborating with, who I don't work with now. He has got some solo music that he does. We were doing stuff for a while, and not anymore, but he did play on this album. But it's also there's a lot of different people. There was my girlfriend at the outset of it, who was super, super supportive of music in general, that got me to get more into it again, to a degree of wanting to give it to people. And as a result of giving it to people, right away someone, was releasing Bengalfuel, and we were, coming up with videos, and she was helping with album artwork and stuff like that. So, and my brother, who he could just as easily have been called a member of the band as well, if you want to call it a band or an outfit or a project or whatever the fuck you want to call it, because he was playing different things on there, and he was contributing different things with his voice, talking on tracks. And now, he'll send me things that are sort of field recordings where he's got a relative or person that he was in the store with, or whatever it is that he records with his phone, and then I'll take that and I'll put that in tracks. So we have a kind of a thing where we do that with each other, where it'll be like, sometimes I'll know, because maybe it's not an ambient album, it's more of an electronic sound, and there's more space for some wacky shit to go in there. And I'll say, I'm getting close to the end of this album, you got anything? And he'll send me some stuff. But he's sending me stuff all the time. And there's other people who have played or added a voice other than my own voice, because I sing on tracks, but there's been some other people who have sang on tracks, or who have contributed bass, or some little flute sound, some little riff here or there, some this or that, or just helped with an idea, or helped to figure out the sequence of it. There's lots of people. So it's always annoying and kind of complicated to answer that question. But I'm trying to give you something, because people always message me on Instagram or wherever the fuck, and they're asking me about that. And it's like, well, I want to say it, and then maybe you can just watch this and hear me ramble about it a little bit, and that'll kind of help you with that. That it's a number of people. It's me primarily. Yes, you can just say Bengalfuel is this guy Joe. Sure, that's fine if you want to do that, but it's not really accurate. There's a lot of people involved in it, and it is kind of one of those things where you can think of any artist that who has a band, or an artist that who has other people who contribute to things on the album where they don't get credit necessarily, and you find out, yeah, so-and-so played the bass on that track. Oh, I didn't know that. They just mention it in an interview. It's like that. It's Bengalfuel is just, it's a hanging out. The potential for other people to contribute to it is always there, and I welcome it. But it's not ever necessarily a thing where everybody cares and wants credit. A lot of people just want to mess around and be part of the thing that's going on, and so that's kind of why it is the way that it is. Another thing is, how do you make the videos, or where do you find the models, or who shoots them, etc. So I cast them, I shoot them. I use a company or several of them that will send out a casting breakdown, which is a description of the video, or to the best of what I have in mind, because we're always going to come up with things, be in the mode of, receiving whatever inspiration is there together. But I, put out a thing, and then their agent or their manager or they themselves will get in touch with me. So sometimes it's 500 people, or it's 1,000 people, or whatever it is. So maybe I'm trying to narrow it down by including some language that is a little more my kind of thing, a little more talk about vibration, talk about this or that spiritual thing, so that I will find people who are maybe a little bit more on that wavelength in advance, so that what we're trying to do is we're trying to make something that's fucking fun, and where we can just come up with it together, and where they're feeling like they're part of the creative process, and not that they're just being told what to do and directed and so on and so forth, that kind of thing. And it's not this big fucking crew of these people who everybody is, standing around not knowing what the fuck they're doing for a few hours before they shoot anything. We're just going to have some fun, and we're going to shoot something that's cool. And so, once I know that you're really comfortable and you want to get together and you want to shoot the thing, then we're going to get together and we're going to have fun, and that's it. We're going to shoot that one day, and then, and so it's that. It's me being able to make something more personal to what the music is, rather than letting somebody else shoot the video, another director shoot the video for the music, and also not having it be the landscape or the flowers kind of thing that is so often the case. I like to have people in the video because to me, ambient music and this whole thing, this is about people. This is, music is about people. So I've always had that kind of attitude from the beginning of it, is that it's a people kind of a thing. So the other thing, I'm saving this one for last because I'm going to ramble the most with this. But this is probably the most frequent thing that people are asking about, related to things that I post online in different places, where I'm talking about things that are spiritual, or maybe at the outset, if you read some interview and there was something that was sort of spiritual where I talked about vibration, or I talked about this or that, or about being a conduit or whatever it was, and where there's something spiritual and I'm talking about, peace, and I'm talking about meditation, and I'm talking about this or that kind of thing, that maybe you're wanting to know about that. I get a lot of messages about that, probably more than anything else. So try to answer that in some kind of way, which is to just give you some fucked up stuff as far as this is what I am like, or this is what I believe, or this is what I'm into. It started with maybe just being aware that I was a conduit, and having that kind of energy exchange, oftentimes very synchronistic experiences, with the sensation that, okay, this person is an energy that has passed, and I'm feeling them now. They're here now. And it's energy, obviously, it's a consciousness, but I'm feeling it, and I understand it, and I'm getting something, and I'm getting some kind of a message. So that was going on for a really, really long time. And then I wanted to know more. I wanted to understand things at a deeper level, because I had a lot of things that I was conflicted about, like, there's fucked up things that are going on in the world, and I don't understand whether I should be maybe doing something more about them as opposed to just making music. And September 2014, it really, really kind of hit me completely, where I had sort of hit a point with that struggle to try to understand whether I should be doing something more. I don't know what it would have been. I'm going to make a documentary about this particular thing that's going on in the world that I think that I could be helpful to inform someone about, that is serious shit, whatever. And I'm freaked out about it, and I need to, do something. Versus I'm just going to do my own thing, which is what I do. I'm going to make music. That's enough. So there was that great asking within of trying to understand, what should I do? What's my thing to do? I want to know. I want a clear answer. And I really, really got myself in a knot over it, and I really had ulcers and was a mess. And it took finally coming to a place of total surrender. And I was into numerological stuff, and had, the angel number thing, and had so much connectivity with different things. So I was seeing it left and right, and I was getting that feeling of, okay, I'm seeing, 444 or 4 4s and everywhere all the time. So it's like, okay, the angels are telling me all is well, and so I need to pray, and I need to really tap into this source energy thing, and really get to a place where I can fucking hear what the hell it's trying to tell me, instead of just being a kind of, oh wow, look at that again. Oh wow, more synchronous. All right, this is fucking ridiculous. Okay, all right, what are you trying to say? But I was in a struggle with it. And so September 2014, it was like the 6th. Something woke me up. The night before, I think I had really absolutely come to a real point of surrender, and a real, I asked you, and now you have to give me an answer. And so this energy woke me up at 5 in the morning. And I didn't open my eyes because it was too intense and too strange to me. I didn't want to see it. But I felt it, that it was like a fucking train of this super powerful, loving, blissful, just right, just perfect energy. Just came paving over, just totally obliterated all the worry and the fear and the doubt that I had. Just ran it over completely. And I was just like, not overwhelmed by it. That I remember specifically. I always remind myself of that there was not overwhelmment, because overwhelmment would be somehow negative. It was still just right. It was way beyond powerful, but it was still just right. There was nothing negative in it whatsoever. And with it came an intuitive knowing. And the first part of it was the words feel good, and that they were specific words, not like a voice was saying them. It was just a kind of an intuitive knowing, a kind of download to my consciousness. And with that was a kind of an understanding of what that meant, that feeling good was the natural state of the planet, or what you had access to. Obviously there's still shit that's going on, and there's animals eating each other, and there's people killing each other. But the natural state, just like air that we breathe, has the potential, if you tap into it, to feel like that felt, to feel that bliss. That if you paved away all the worry and the fear and the doubt, if you got rid of all of those obstacles, that feeling is available all of the time. That feeling is trying to wrap its arms around you and trying to get close to you and be with you and let you know that everything is okay. And so it was my answer. What do I do? Feel good. There was an understanding that was with that. It was very, I mean, this all came in instantaneously. It's hard to explain. It was really downloaded to my brain, which sounds insane, but I was not on any drugs, and I'm not on any drugs now. And I knew what was going on. I didn't hallucinate it. It was real. And the feeling that was there with it, or the furthering of the understanding, was the idea that feel good, and that will tell you what to do. And so you don't want to go make that documentary. You don't want to go get involved in that kind of thing, because when you try to do it, you don't feel good. You get wound up and crazy over it. But when you do your music, you feel good. And that's proved itself to me in really cool ways. That if I had mainly wanted to help people, and that was where my struggle was, I mean, the amount of people who message me and say, you know, this music, I heard this, and it's really peaceful, and it's really relaxing, and it's really blissful, and I was going through a really, really rough time, and I found your music, and it was magical the way that I found it, and now I have something that I can relax to, and you don't understand like what that did, how that saved me. That kind of gave me my answer. I mean, that's the furthering of that it has value. Everything, I mean, I believe everything fucking has value. Every little fucking thing has meaning and purpose and is so important. But that's validation in some kind of a way. Even though it's, you know, still me talking, oh, you know, my music is important. Who gives a shit, right? I don't even consider it my music. It's from somewhere else. Who the fuck knows? So that's that part of it. And then the new part of it, where I'm even crazier, is that this happened in the last month. I mean, it happened a month ago, approximately, maybe a little bit more than that, was a furthering of that kind of struggle with how do I be more in tune with that energy? Because I've spent years exploring and discovering and getting around that and understanding and feeling for that feel good and following it everywhere and seeing it lead me to places where I'd shoot this music video with this particular person who I knew I should work with because it felt good and it felt cool to just felt right. There was a lining up of energy, a shared wavelength there. And now we're friends after we've done the thing. And so it's amazing, you know, that when you follow that, it leads to great things. And it's somebody who is very, very spiritual. And, you know, I mean, now it's as if that's all that's in my life is people who are on that wavelength. And I've found people who say the same things, know the same things that I know the same teachers or teachings. And it's just kind of ridiculous. But there was still a little bit of a sense of a struggle at some points of wanting to have more of a, I mean, I have my emotional guidance system. I have my moment-to-moment guidance of letting me know, does this feel good or does this not feel good? But there was a wanting to, let's say, be in that frequency more profoundly as much as possible. Be in that alignment in a more full way. Experience it so that I could look at any given situation and feel love for that thing that I'm looking at. Or that any person I could think of, I could love that person, and that nothing would be causing me to have that separation. That here's this inner part of me, this eternal part of me, this soul me, that's at this high frequency, that source frequency, and here's me, and I want to be here. And not just to have that visit me like it did in 2014, but I want to be there. And I invited that through a rough ride because I got really sick by not being able to mentally figure out how to get there. And of course, very stupidly, not allowing and meditating and finding relief to get me there, I became struggle oriented in my thought process at a certain point and got in that knot again. So I got really sick and I couldn't eat for a little over a week, and I was fucking starving and crazy, but felt so euphoric in this strange Zen energy that's indescribable, that must be something that I mean, now I have come to see that other people have said this about not eating. So I can no longer look at the idea of someone starving in the same kind of way, because if there's the potential that a person could be feeling that, it is like feeling that you're so going to be okay and it's all right and there's this energy is around you, even though you are getting close to death. So, not exactly something that everybody would want to have that experience necessarily. That's a little insane, and I don't recommend starving yourself or fasting, if you will, to get there. But I think that's why people do fast. Now I understand. And I think I understand what that feeling, that you would be, why you would chase a feeling like that, what you would be looking for, because it's a strong connection. So, at a certain point, the simplest way to say it is that energy that I experienced in 2014 came into my fucking body. That's what happened. That was the breaking point. I finally, it broke me. The not eating broke me, and I let that energy come in. And there were points early on where I was like struggling to maintain it, to contain it in my body, and I felt the energy shooting off in different directions, and I would get unbelievably cranky, and then I would allow it back in, and I would be like, holy shit, I can't believe it. It's like somebody just gave me 5 hits of acid and 5 hits of ecstasy, and I can't believe how fucking good I feel. This is insane. And I've gotten used to that, and I've gotten to be able to be more, I can talk now, and I'm not at the place that I was at in 2014 where my teeth were chattering after that experience, or in this experience where I can't even describe when it was first happening, how just outrageously, I mean, if you can imagine a person who just got hit with like electricity from God, basically. I don't know what the fuck else to think of, what you call that. But it was the total coming together, me with me. I felt, and I feel fuller. It's like, it's not an out-of-body experience. It's a I've never fucking been more in my body than now experience. That's what it is. It's ridiculous. And there are times constantly where I keep looking in the mirror and saying, this is fucking ridiculous. I feel too good. It's insane. And it's been, a month of this, so it's not going anywhere. It doesn't quit. It takes some allowing and there's points in the day where it's not 100%. And I'm sure if I put up a fight with myself and put in a really good effort, I could get myself twisted out of it. But over the years, my beliefs have shifted so much that I don't believe in things that I used to believe in that would cause me to dip out of feeling good to that extent anymore. And so this really, really full alignment that I want to call it, this coming into total, whatever the fuck it is, that's sort of like the goal, I feel like. Because basically it's kind of a godlike, invincible feeling, and you can't have any kind of sense of fear about anything, and you don't have any sense of impatience about things that you want coming to you, and you just sort of feel like everything that you can think about, you can find pleasure in the thought itself. So that's new. And it's kind of interesting as well, because for a while I anticipated making this video, and maybe that had to happen first so that I would be able to give the best possible answer as it relates to this stuff, because otherwise it would have been only explaining the 2014 experience, and not knowing about this, which is, I don't even know what the fuck you call this. I keep saying alignment. It's using somebody else's term, but it's that. I don't know what it is. It's pretty crazy. So, to wrap things up, there's nothing to worry about. Everything's going to be okay. Yeah, there's bad stuff going on, sure. But it's not as real as it seems. Don't freak out. The loving energy is available to you at all times. You just gotta chill out. Just give it a minute. You know when you're arguing with somebody and then as soon as you stop, all of a sudden some amount of time goes by and you laugh it off and you say, I don't even know what the fuck I was mad about. And then you can talk to them again and everything's okay. You can do that in much bigger ways and really avoid the obstacles and the pitfalls of things that are going on. And then if you want to invite things and invite energy into your reality that has some rough ride kind of element to it in order to then get answers and get further understanding of things, then you're more in a position to know that you're the one who's creating that. Hopefully that's the best thing that you can take away from what I'm saying is you're creating everything, and good or bad, you're creating it by way of where you're vibrating, how you're feeling. And so if you're wanting to like everything in your reality more, feel good. Trust that that's enough in itself. Trust that the aligned energy will provide answers to questions that you want to know and perceptions of things that are to your advantage and perspective that is allowing of intuitive knowing in a given moment as to what to do, not just plans and maps to follow and the blueprints of life, but an actual moment to moment. What do? I know. What do? I feel good now. It comes to me. I receive the idea. I'm inspired. I want to be inspired with everything that I do. Going to the grocery store should be a full-blown creative experience. Everything should be like that. Everything should be fun. It can be. It's unnecessary to struggle, and it's unnecessary to kick your own ass all the time. So yield to that energetic hug that's available to you, and it's pretty fucking awesome. That's giving a little too much advice. I hate to be one to give advice, but since that comes with a lot of the question with people when they start to ask me, that's my advice, is yield to it. Allow it. It's not bad. It's ancient. It's been here with us forever. It's been on the planet forever. Look at the animals. The animals are in tune way the fuck more than people are. That's why they're just dancing and they're galloping through life and everything is good. And they're not experiencing the anguish that humans. They're getting chewed on and they're doing crazy shit to each other. And yes, some of them, there are some animals that grieve and there's animals that mourn in certain ways. And there's all kinds of things that are going on that are bad. Surely you can call certain things bad. But there is an energetic dance and a knowing that we are infinite. We are energy. We're energy consciousness, that every idea that we have and every experience that we have is expanding the universe, and it's going to keep going and it's going to keep getting better, and the capacity to feel love is going to grow and grow and grow. And so Earth is here for us as a place to explore, to be able to make the universe in the energy form more, that then gives us more to play with as we come into experiences here again and again if we want to, if we choose. Everything is choice. The responsibility is just you to you. Just look in the mirror. That's your worst enemy and that's your best friend. There's nobody else who's fucking with your shit. You're attracting everything. You're not having somebody exert their dominance over you in terms of what you're feeling. So, shut the fuck up. All right, see you later.